Thank you so much for your words of encouragement, Rick and Mia. And now we would like to recognize this year's undergraduate and graduate student award winners and invite a few of them to say a few words to you. I would also like to introduce at this time two of my colleagues. Professor Ileana Rodriguez-Silva is Director of Undergraduate Studies and a specialist in Latin American and Caribbean history. Professor Matthew Mosca is Director of Graduate Studies and is a professor of the history of late imperial China and a professor of international studies in the Henry M. Jackson School of International Studies.
Congratulations to all our graduating seniors of 2021. These have been extraordinary times, and you still managed to move forward successfully. We're very proud of each one of you and look forward to hear from you in the future about both your struggles and the achievements that come with them. As Director of Undergraduate Studies, it is my privilege to introduce two excellent graduating seniors. Each of these students will share with you some of their experiences and wisdom earned throughout their journeys at the UW studying history. Praewpetch, Pattie, Unakul is our departmental nominee for the College of Arts and Science Dean's Medal. Pattie is earning a bachelor's degree in history with a focus on empire and colonialism, as well as in Germanics. She recently finished our Honors in History program, where she wrote an outstanding thesis on the ethno-racial politics and separatist struggles in Thailand. She also participated in our History Fellows program. Our second speaker is Cameron Molyneux, who just received the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, selected by our Department of History faculty from a group of also amazing senior students. In addition, he will be representing the College of Arts and Sciences as a banner carrier at the university's graduation event. Cameron is earning a degree in history with two minors, one in labor studies and another in diversity studies. As part of our Honors in History program, Cameron wrote and researched an excellent thesis on covering the regional politics shaping state persecution of leftist labor activist Harry Bridges. He has been working in a research lab using his history and data skills for several years now.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we begin this part of the ceremony, we need to acknowledge that our graduation today is, for many of us, taking place on the colonized and occupied homelands of the Duwamish and other Coast Salish peoples, past and present. We make this acknowledgement as part of an ongoing commitment to honor and put ourselves into good relations with the land itself and its traditional stewards. Over the last 15 or so months, I would reckon that just about all of us have grown tired of the droves of emails that begin or end with a riff on a phrase like this. In these unprecedented times, uncertain times, trying times, extraordinary times, and so on and so forth. On one level, these trite corporate greetings are correct. The past year and change has certainly been difficult for all of us, and it's probably been a radical departure from what most of us considered to be our normal lives before this. But on another level, they come up quite short. Despite the incredible amount of change we've lived through, the moments and events we've witnessed are not without precedent. We have felt the particular intensity of living through a global pandemic and reinvigorated social movements of oppressed peoples at home and abroad. But in truth, these moments, the conditions spurring them, and the way we choose to respond to them are not isolated occurrences. Over our time studying history, we have learned that everything we experience in our present moment is the accumulation of long-running historical processes, which, while not predetermined, have led us to where we are today. Indeed, when we feel the strain of unprecedented times on our lives, we are feeling the weight of history on our shoulders. It is the weight of our responsibility as historians to not only better understand these processes, but to learn how to apply our knowledge to the present and change history for the better. But even though we may have felt the obligation that comes with being a historian weighing on us, it's also become an invaluable source of motivation, understanding, and reassurance for me over the past year. Thanks to my history education, I have felt better prepared to understand the present by connecting it to the past and by rooting current events in the historical processes that have shaped them. In a period of our lives where it has been so easy to feel overwhelmed by change, both before and after the pandemic, in which all that once seemed solid to us has suddenly melted into air, it has been a great comfort to be able to situate the present in relation to the past and to understand that our history is always changing. And in another way, studying history right now is a good reminder that what we do as historians matters. I'm sure that at one point or another, whether while looking at a roll of microfilm that's been gathering dust for 50 years, or while trawling HathiTrust for a document that may or may not exist, let alone in digitized format, we've all thought to ourselves, man, I might be the only person in the world who actually cares about this. But seeing people cite the historical foundations of present injustices, as well as the extreme pushback they've received when doing so, is a clear sign that when done well with dedication, focus, and responsibility to the communities we study, that our work as historians has an impact on the world. Finally, perhaps the reason I have been most thankful for my history education this past year is because it has let me imagine what a better future might look like. In studying historical change, we are lucky to be gifted a window into the world that often looks much different than it does today. We are reminded that nothing was predetermined, and that historical events could have gone very differently for any number of reasons. It also means that our future isn't set in stone. We could live to see the end of structures like imperialism, settler colonialism, and white supremacy if we commit ourselves to fighting for it. We all have the power to help change history from the present by taking collective action. So, on that note, I'd like to leave you with a couple of questions. What would a better future look like for you, and how can you contribute to making it a reality? Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2021. We made it.
Hello everyone, my name is Pattie Unakul and I'm a graduating senior in history in German. I believe that understanding human nature is one of the most important fundamental qualities that people who work in every career field should have. I first chose to major in history because I'm interested in learning about comparative politics and cultures and how they shape who we are today. However, history gave me more than that. History is a gateway for me to examine the complexities of human behaviors, thoughts, decisions, and psychology. It also gave me an opportunity to observe societies and civilizations through various lenses, and I learned how to put myself in another person's shoes. Studying history cultivated my compassionate and provident mindset as it made me acknowledge that different people have different contexts and backgrounds and thus require different kinds of interactions. This mentality would be exceedingly valuable to my communication and interpersonal skills that I could adapt to use in future life situations. History prompted me with countless experiences of methodological research and critical and analytical thinking skills that I could adapt to use in my future careers. And history is also a foundation of leadership and success because it taught me that people should avoid mistakes, learn from them, and avoid repeating them. This also depends on the context of the situations because what worked in the past may not work in the present or future, but history provides me a stepping stone to realize how to adapt those solutions to use in the present and future. The legacy of history is still present and has penetrated into every aspect of our lives. From cultures and traditions that are handed down from generations to ongoing conflicts in politics and international relations, history is the key to understand all of these distinctive elements and current problems of our world. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Matthew Mosca. I'm the Director of Graduate Studies and very happy to be with you today. Let me first congratulate all of the graduates this year. It's been an incredibly challenging year and it's great to see that you've made it through this challenge successfully and come to graduation. So my role here is to introduce the collaborative group that we're going to be honoring this year. known as a People's History Group, and they are being honored this year as the outstanding leaders, the outstanding student leaders in the Department of History. This group produced a collaborative project known as A People's History, Racism and Resistance at University of Washington. And this group is comprised largely of graduate students across campus. And so today, we're very happy to feature a speech featuring two of our own Department of History graduate students, Oya and Madison Heslop, who will be joined by Julian Barr from the Department of Geography and Megumi Matsushita from the Environmental and Occupational Health Sciences program. So let me congratulate you on your award and thank you very much for speaking with us today. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Oya Aktas.
And I'm Madison Heslop.
And we represent the People's History Group, a predominantly graduate student collective affiliated with Divest and Demilitarize UW. Divest and Demilitarize UW is part of the ongoing abolitionist movement against white supremacist and militarized police forces, as well as the carceral state. The collective's work is to make historical information and context regarding UW more accessible to students and the broader Seattle community through our community-driven projects. A People's Landscape, Racism and Resistance at UW has been our first project.
In June of 2020, students from the Black Student Union contacted us about creating a map that displays the history and legacies of racism on the UW Seattle campus, located on the homelands and waters of the Coast Salish nations. Based on that request, we created this resource using StoryMap.js to provide current and incoming students with a historical and spatial guide to the colonial and racist legacies of the university as revealed in the campus landscape. In addition to acknowledging the violent histories that produced our campus, this map foregrounds the resistance and resilience of Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latinx, and LGBTQ students whose organizing efforts made possible campus resources such as the Samuel E. Kelly Cultural Center and the Waffleball Intellectual House.
This map reveals that collaboration and solidarity among students directly challenges systems of control and oppression within the university. We hope these histories serve as a call for students and community members to create their own sites of resistance, while honoring ongoing efforts by prioritizing the provision of tangible material and volunteer support for current abolitionist efforts in Seattle. We hope our work on this map inspires you to take what you have learned in your history classes, go out into the world, and imagine better futures.
Congratulations to history graduates of 2021.